Welcome to another episode of Two Ales and Hockey Tales with Wally. And today I am so excited to have on a 37-year-old from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. His hockey journey took him to Canada, the USA, Italy, and Sweden. A staple and former teammate of mine with the Western Michigan Broncos, but he spread his wings in Italy and Europe. A three-time he was named the top three player for Team Italy. In the 2010 World Championships, was named Italy's best player and backstopped them to gold. And a two-time Italian champion with Asiago, with ridiculous stats in the playoffs, folks, and worked his way up to the Swedish Elite League, but he is best known as a DJ at the Magrillo nightclub in Italy. Welcome to the podcast, Daniel Bellissimo.
Wally, thanks for having me. It's been a while. Cheers.
Cheers, buddy.
Yeah.
How you been?
Yeah, pretty good. Just work, family life now.
We'll get into that. So basically, I get into how we know each other to begin with. So your brother, older brother, Vince, episode 25, the three of us all went to Western Michigan together, eh?
Yep. 1 year, I think we played with Vince, and then I played with you for 2 years.
Yep.
Interesting couple of years, to say the least.
Yep. Yeah, we weren't very successful, you can say.
We had a couple rough years, Wally.
Yeah. You know what, though? The odd time we'd mix in some home wins. We didn't mix any in on the road, but we did win at home the odd time,
We did win at home. And you know what? Our home barn was probably one of the best rinks I ever played in. So
yeah, the Lost and Lunatics. And our apartment was probably one of the best college apartments to party in too, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. And I got some thoughts about that too. We can get into a little bit.
Yeah, we'll get into your Western Michigan days. Okay, so first thing off then is, where and what are you doing now?
So now I'm living in Mississauga, Ontario. I'm working with my dad. Married, have a daughter. She just turned 2 yesterday. So
happy birthday. What's her name?
Penelope.
Happy birthday, Penelope.
We took her to Wonderland yesterday. She went on her first roller coaster. It's just a small one. So it's a different life now.
Sure is, isn't it?
But it's great. So
rumor has it that you're a pretty big dog out there, and your brother, I went fishing for some questions, and he actually said that you are fully invested in the family company, and that it's gone great since basically you're kind of running it now, huh?
Yeah, you know what? When I first stopped playing hockey, it was a bit of a shock. For the first couple of years, it was, it was an emotional couple of years for me.
I want to talk about that. I want to know, why do you shut it down when you do? You were just in like the Swedish Elite League. You're playing in the World Championships, and then no, I don't want to play anymore.
Yeah, you know what? It just, I was living in Sweden and way up north. There was, no sunlight. Kind of got to me a little bit. I wasn't really playing my best hockey. So it was around Christmas time. I was feeling really, really homesick. And I just decided, I think that was it. I was battling through some injuries. Again, I wasn't playing good hockey.
Question. Were you, you're married now. Was your wife in Sweden with you?
No, I met her after I finished playing. So
gotcha. Yeah. So then there could be some lonely nights in Sweden, eh? When you're in the dark and.
Yeah, you know what? I had there was a couple imports from Sarnia, the Abbott brothers.
Don't talk about them. Don't talk about them.
You know what? But to be honest with you, they really, they really helped me out, hung out with me quite a bit. They were the only other North American guys on the team. So, it was,
I'm sure they're great guys. But no, they were on the team that beat us in the Southern Cup Game 7. So I've never forgot about them and from Junior B. But they did go on to some great careers, and they must be pretty good dudes. Aren't they like running that team now?
Now they're running a different team, not that team, but they're running a different team, Rogla. I think they're the GM and the president or something. I'm not sure 100%. But anyway, back to there. It was, the sunlight. I mean, it was getting dark at like 12:30 in the afternoon. I would I'd eat lunch. I'd take a nap after my lunch. I'd fall asleep on the couch. I'd wake up and it would just be pitch black, and I'd be what time is it? I feel like it was like, 5 a.m. I'd wake up and it's like 1:45, like,
And you're by yourself too.
and
And
I'm
like,
by myself. And I was they didn't put me in the city. I was kind of on the outskirts a little bit. So, even to,
though, but like, that sounds like a tough situation, but like, you could have just asked for like a transfer and kept playing hockey.
yeah, you know what? I was 30 years old too, Wally. I wasn't spring chicken anymore. I think
You weren't a prospect anymore.
yeah, exactly. So, and like I said, I was battling with some injuries. I had some, some knee injuries. My knees weren't feeling too great. So I just decided, you know what? After I left there, I actually played one more World Championships. We can get into that story a little bit later, how I got that call.
You know what? If it comes up right now, I say we just go with it. Go with the flow.
Okay, so I was actually on a construction site, and Adam Dennis, who's the other goalie on the national team, he got hurt right at the end of the season. So, they had a couple of decent local kids, or Italian kids, Italian-born kids, but nothing that they felt too confident. They were young.
To go to the World
Actually,
Championships.
one's the starter right now, and he's very good. He's actually very good. Andy Bernard. So he was, at the time, he was still a little bit young. So I was on a construction site. It was probably like, 10:30, 11 in the morning. And I get a call from the coach of the national team. He goes, what are you doing? And I'm just like, I'm actually on a construction site doing a little work here. And he goes, you want to come and play in the World Championships? This one was in Belarus. And I said, I was feeling I was missing the game at this point. It was fresh. I hadn't played for about, it was probably about 6 months, Christmas time to it was about 5-6 months anyways. So I was feeling like I was missing the game because it was still fresh. So I thought about it, I said, let me give you a call later. So I kind of thought about it. And then literally I called my old man. I said, listen, I think I'm going to go play in the Worlds one more time. And then this is it. Right. And he goes, my dad's going, oh, here we go. He's going to go play. He's going to go play in the World Championships. Then he's going to get right back in it. So, but, I decided to go back. Hadn't skated in about 5 months. I was still working out every day, running, lifting a little bit of weights, mostly just running. So I packed up my gear and went off to Italy for, I think we had a 2-week training camp, and then right into the Worlds after not playing for 5 months, not even putting my skates on.
And you play in the World Championships, and that's in like the top division?
Yeah, it was in the top division. Like we played that one there. We played Canada. We played Sweden. We played Czech Republic. We played.
And you hadn't played since the season before, and you were working at the family business now for your old man on a construction site. And you're like, so most people in those situations, they just go play Senior A, right? Locally, but you go to the World Championships and play Canada.
Yeah. So I was a little bit concerned actually, because I hadn't skated. So literally the next day after I got the call and I said, okay, I'm coming. I call a couple buddies they weren't even playing anymore. And I said, you know what? Let's go skate on this little 3-on-3 rink. I said, take some shots on me and let's see what I got here. So you know what? I was feeling like, I thought I was going to be worse, but I was not feeling great. But I went, you know what? It's okay. 2 weeks, I think I could get it back. So I end up flying back there. And I fly there. And they forget to pick me up at the airport. I fly into Venice because the training camp was in Asiago where I used to play. So I'm sitting in the airport, and at the time there was you needed to have that special chip to get your phone to work. It wasn't like it is now where you can just use your phone anywhere. So I'm sitting in there in the airport for an hour, and I'm going, I don't have anybody's number. I don't know who to call. I'm sitting there, and for an hour, and I'm just like, do I just book a flight and if I can just go right back home? What is this? Am I allowed to swear on this, Wally?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I throw I'm sitting there.
This is literally Calvin Elfring, a guy 2 episodes ago, flew over to Germany for the first time ever. And he got left there for 5.5 hours with no money and didn't know the language. Woolen Shop, Brown Ale, Bayfield Brewing Company.
Yeah. So anyways, I'm sitting there for a couple hours went by, and I'm scrolling through. I call one of my old teammates and I say, can you get a hold of the national team and tell these guys to come and pick me up at the airport? So finally I was there after about 5 hours. They come and pick me up. I go up there. And, after a week of training camp, I wasn't feeling too great. I was actually a little concerned. I was getting a little nervous. I'm going, okay, I thought I was going to get it back a little quicker.
And you're going to be the starter.
Yeah, I'm going there to play like every game. So I'm not feeling too good. I'm like, okay, this could be really embarrassing.
It's not like it's on really TSN bad. Or anything, right?
Yeah. So like I'm not sleeping because I'm like, I'm worried because I'm not stopping pucks in practice. I could tell even the coach is starting to get a little bit worried. And then just one day, the next day, it just clicked.
It was back.
Yeah, it was just, and I'll tell you what, it was probably back more than I ever had it before. And that World Championships there was probably the best hockey I ever played.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And then you really shut it down.
Yeah. Then I said, actually, I got a couple calls. I can't even remember which teams, but I think it was a couple KHL teams. And I just said, no, it's okay. I'm good.
So, KHL teams are calling you and you're saying I'm good. But you know what? Like your old man built quite a business, it sounds like. How many employees do you got?
We got about, I would say 25 to 30.
Yeah, it sounds like though you guys have quite a good business going, and your old man must have been dying for one of you guys to stop playing hockey and fully invest, because to me, it does not sound like Vince is fully invested. He is coaching.
He's coaching. That's what he enjoys.
That's his passion, and that's what he's into. And he sounds like he's good at it and he's passionate about it. And it's awesome that he has a family business that he can have a job and get to follow his passion. Not many people could pull all that off. But then that your old man had a son that wanted to dive right in and get the business rocking and rolling. By the sounds of it, that is what you've done, eh?
Yeah, dive right in. I'm not sure. There was some doubts because when I first stopped playing, I was like, do I get into goalie coaching? Like, I got a pretty good career. I played in Sweden, Luleå, Sweden, where like that's the goalie capital of the world pretty much. The goalie coaches there are just, my goalie coach on that team was, I'm going to say he was probably the best goalie coach in the world. So I got a chance. Yeah, even his name was Daniel Henriksen. He's not even a coach anymore. He's living in Portugal with his wife, got a job in Portugal. He's done with hockey too. But at the time, he was the man. Like this guy. And even the year before when I played in Timrå, Anders Palm, he was another goalie coach who was, these guys were way ahead of anybody over here. That's for sure.
Yeah. And probably in Italy where you'd been playing before, right?
Yeah. So these guys were the real deal. And my last year, even though I left halfway through, I mean, I learned a ton from that guy. I would stay on the ice with him an hour after practice. He would have to say, okay, let's get off the ice. Like, this is getting ridiculous now. So, like I said, I was debating whether I get into the family business or goalie coaching. So like, I was kind of doing both for a bit. And then like, I'm trying to teach these kids, like, I'm bringing Sweden over. They're ahead of the time. So like, I was bringing some new stuff. So the kids were kind of not really buying in. And I just said, you know what?
Because it was something different. Yeah.
I'm tired of trying to convince these guys like how to play, which you see every NHL goalie playing like that right now. So I said, I'm tired of trying to convince these guys how to play. And I just said, I'm done with hockey. Let's just move on. And I just jumped right into the family business. And, when I first stopped playing, actually, my dad, he would just throw me into meetings. He'd go to this site, there's a meeting, and just deal with it. I'm like, okay. I didn't know anything at this point. I didn't know nothing. I was just finished playing hockey. I didn't know anything about construction. Not to mention school. I wasn't, I didn't really fully commit when I was at school either. I'm sure, as you remember. So my dad just throws me into these meetings, and I'm sitting in these meetings with guys that are. This guy's been in construction for 40 years. This guy's been in construction for 20 years. Electrician, a mechanical guy, concrete forming guys. And I'm sitting there in a meeting, the steel guy. They're asking me questions, and I'm just like, what? I'm going to have to get back to you on that one.
Yeah.
Every question. What are these guys sending us over here? This guy doesn't know anything. So, I mean, I had to start, but it was good, though, because I got to learn how the sites were running. I spent a lot of time on the sites my first couple of years. I took a bunch of courses. I learned how to use AutoCAD. I learned how to read construction drawings, brushed up on my sales skills a little bit. And just slowly built, slowly learned. And here we are today. So things are going pretty good. We're real busy. And
No, it sounds awesome, man. It sounds like you're into it. It sounds like you're good at what you're doing. It's great to hear you're doing well, man.
Yeah, no, it's everything's been going great. Yeah.
Um, okay. Yeah, I just finished a course like that. Construction management is the one I just finished for fun. But
Oh, you just did it for fun, or are you looking to get into construction?
no, I just did it just to, you know, because
Yeah.
it would help with my career and what I'm doing, right? I'm engineering supervisor at a global heat treatment company. So, um, yeah,
How was your transition
it's kind
into
of
that?
similar to yours. I had to go,
Yeah,
I
mine.
went, I met, people, and well, I guess the CEO asked me that if I wanted to get into the industry, and I had all this education with the MBA. He wanted me to go out and learn the industry, and I left home for a few months and went and was a field technician and was on the sites and
Mhm.
did it. And then, yeah, same as you, worked my way up, I guess.
Yeah, I like, you know what? I like mixing it up on the site once in a while. It's good to get out of the
There's
office. I
some
don't like,
banter out there, isn't there?
yeah, exactly. I mean, it's not quite like being in a dressing room or anything, but it's kind of similar in some kind of way.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. We got really sidetracked, but the only thing I never brought up as we crossed by it was when you talked about in Sweden, it wasn't your best hockey, but you were also a bit homesick and it was dark all the time. Do you not find the happier you are in life, the better you play hockey?
100%, 100%.
Like from what I've seen and like the pictures you sent me, it looked to me like you were living in Italy and you were just dominating as a goalie. And then I don't know, for myself, when I was Wally, when I was being me and I wasn't trying to be somebody else and drink the protein shakes and get in the cold tubs, if I
Yeah.
was just being me and having fun and playing hockey, I played way better.
Oh, 100%. So, in Italy, it was a little bit different. I mean, I think we had somewhere between 10 to 15 imports. It was tons of imports. So it was a lot more fun that way. More people to hang out with. Even though Asiago, it's a town, 20,000 people and at the top of a mountain, there's not much to do. But when you have people around you that are, they're good people, and you find stuff to do. You cause shit. You go out, you do stuff. You know what I
Did you
mean?
get into skiing over there?
I never went skiing one time. It was actually in our contract
How,
where we
what?
weren't allowed
Yeah.
to go.
Yeah. The goalie probably shouldn't go skiing.
Yeah,
This,
no, even anybody wasn't. We weren't allowed. If we got caught skiing, right home.
is that right?
Yeah, so I never went skiing one time.
Some people used to get it that they get free skiing.
No, us was the opposite. If we got caught going skiing, it was big trouble. And I lived on a world-class ski resort for 4 years. Never went one time.
Oh, that
So,
sucks. But
but
anyways, okay, we got really sidetracked from where and what are you doing now?
yeah, that's okay.
uh, but the only other thing I heard is that you have picked up a hobby. You've gotten a little more into your golf game. But I did hear that your bigger brother Vincenzo there is still dominating the golf course.
You know what? The last couple of weeks, I think I could take them easily.
Is that right?
So yeah, I've been shooting, low 80s. I was kind of struggling. I've only been playing for about 4 years. My fourth season probably playing golf.
And
And
you're shooting low 80s in 4 years?
yeah, I've my last 5 rounds, I think I shot 80, 82, 81, 83, and then I had a bit of a rough one today. I shot 88, but that's okay.
So
But
I guess you
my
get to
brother's good
golf more than me then.
yeah, for a guy that doesn't play, he doesn't really play as much as me because I belong at a golf course, Credit Valley, and I get out there probably 2, 3 times a week.
Is that right, eh?
Yeah, my wife's
Sounds
pretty good.
lovely.
She
Sounds lovely.
yeah, she lets me get out quite a bit, so I got to thank her for that. But for Vince, for a guy that doesn't really play often, maybe once every 2, 3 weeks, he can play.
Oh
So,
yeah,
and
he's got the handle.
he's
Same
got the
was when he
hands.
played hockey. Yeah,
Yeah, he's got the
he could
hands.
handle the puck. I'm sure he could handle a golf club. He'd be fine.
Yeah, no, but I think these last couple of weeks, I told him, I said, you know what, if next time we go golfing, you're gonna get dusted because
Uh,
my game's starting to really come around.
I've realized I can't be competitive with golf because I just suck now. I don't play enough to be good and be competitive. I can just go out and have fun now. That's the one sport I can't take competitively.
No, you know what? That's what I do too. I just go out there and have fun. it was actually a good. It was good for me to find something like golf to play after hockey. So
Yeah. Okay. Next question then, because we haven't really got into anything. We've just been bouncing around, but
Yeah.
minor hockey in Toronto. And the Toronto folks I've had on so far, like Doug Clarkson and I guess your brother, but it sounds like there's a lot of team switching going on. Who'd you play for minor hockey, or did you bounce around?
So I played 1 year with the Marlies, 6 years with the Senators, the Mississauga Senators, and then 2 years for the Vaughan Kings. So only 3 teams.
Only 3 teams in minor hockey. Yeah. Well, actually, this was the weird one for me. I'm going to have a very busy week, folks. I got a call a couple days ago for my son to go for AAA tryouts. So,
Beautiful.
yeah, real beautiful. It's the Huron Perth Lakers. And I looked, the practices are an hour and a half away.
Oh, wow.
And that's just for practice, folks. That's to a home practice. So that's like the only team close by to us. And then you still have to travel to the road games. And yeah, they asked him to come. So he basically has it. I think it's 5 times this week, an hour and a half away. And I already committed to running 2 practices in town here. So it's going to be a busy week, folks.
I mean, you might have to move to Toronto, Wally.
Nope. Not an
you know
option. What? I like it here, sir. I can't go there. I'm not a city person. You know me. I'm not a city person.
I'll tell you what, though. At least sometimes you can get stuck in traffic for an hour and a half doing a 10-minute drive over here in the city. So
yeah, it wouldn't be nothing to you. I can't sit in traffic. I can't do that. I couldn't live in Toronto.
Yeah, you know what? I grew up here, so for me, it's home.
I know that yeah. We're in minor hockey though, eh? But anyways, yeah, like, so for tryouts for my son now, I'm gonna have to go an hour and a half this week. I want him to get the experience and check out how good these other kids are, but I just don't know if that could be feasible for a year. But I can just see the way this is going. If he ends up being asked to stay, and then all of a sudden dad's the bad guy because I think he should just stay in his hometown for the year, because I can just see where it's heading. It's just
he's still young though. He can stay where he is.
It's only Adam. No. And then our hometown here is it's 2 age groups together. So like he's trying out with kids a year older than I'm here, right? So it's not that big of a deal. We can stay home, big guy. I'll just have to explain that to him.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, 3 teams in minor hockey, and then you get into junior and you switch teams a bunch more here. The only team I ever tried out for other than my hometown, Elmira Shirkings, was the Georgetown Raiders. I saw you played for them. That was the only team I tried out for in junior other than Elmira. But you switched 4 teams in 3 years?
Okay, so I started with the Vaughan Vipers. I played for them for a year. Then I got traded towards the start of the next year to Georgetown, who was a contender. We had one of the top teams probably definitely in Ontario, one of the top teams probably even in the country. So that was, we ended up going, we won the Western Conference, and we ended up losing to Aurora in the semifinals. I can't remember what it's called, the cup for the
Royal Bank or so. Oh yeah, I don't know anything about the Toronto leagues, to be honest with you. Not really.
Yeah, we lost. It was anyway. I think it was we lost in the 4th round. So
okay, but you did all right. And then so then are you there again the next year?
So I was there again the next year at the start. Got traded again to St. Mike's, and then this is a story. I don't even know if I should say this, but this is a story.
You can that's what this is about, is telling stories like that. Get things off your chest, man.
Okay, I like it. So I'm in St. Mike's. Things are going well. We got Andrew Cogliano. We got a bunch of good guys. We're a really good team, comparable to the Georgetown team I was on the year before. Going for a championship. And the day before the trade deadline, we get a call, and the coach Chris DePiro says, "You know what? We got to trade you." And I said, "What? Why you got to trade me? What the hell's going on here?" He goes, "Well, your brother, when he was here." Okay, so this goes, wait, let's rewind a little bit. My brother, when he was playing on St. Mike's Junior.
This is Vincenzo,
that's right.
Episode 25, folks.
Exactly. So he was on St. Mike's, and they at the time they had a rule where you had to go to the school to play on the team. So my brother was done school, you've graduated from high school. So they said, you know what, just come back, take a couple courses just to show that you're still in the school. And this way you're still on the team. No problem. You don't have to pay. No problem. So sure enough, this is what, I don't know how many years later, 4 years later, I'm on the team. The day before the trade deadline, the school calls the team and says, either he pays the tuition for those few courses that he took, or Daniel's not playing any more games. So they
For
called
Vince's bill.
Yeah, this was like years after. And so my dad goes, I ain't paying that. So it was for free. Why am I going to pay that? Now 3 years later, you're coming out, you're trying to
just because his brother's playing there now,
yeah,
you're going to penalize the brother.
so then you could just trade him. So I ended up getting traded to Stouffville. I think I played a couple of games and I got a concussion, ended my season. And then that's how I ended up in Stouffville.
Okay,
So
well,
I just had a cup of coffee there. So really, it was 3 teams.
Yeah, no, that's quite the story.
Yeah.
So if I do that a couple times tonight, I coached a practice today and I was teaching the kids. I got carried away and I got into, showing off, right? And I was showing the kids a spinaroonie and the knee didn't like it. And she's been a long day since, but it hurts. So every once in a while, if it just gives out on me, just bear with me here, okay?
Yeah, no problem. I still jump on the ice too once in a while, and I still think because I'm actually the goalie coach for my brother's team too. So once in a while, I think I can do stuff that I shouldn't be doing anymore, and same thing happens to me all the time. Especially
as soon as you do it, you're like, oh right, yep, no right, yep.
Can't be doing that anymore.
But you want to be cool. You want to show the kids what you can do. Your son's out there. They're all looking at you. And I'm like, well, watch what I can do. Watch this spinaroonie. And then I, brave face, got home, got the ice bag on.
Did you bill or did you stay on your feet or
no? It's just the way the knee works. It's something's catching right now, and it's like giving out on me. That's just I just pushed her too hard, I think.
Maybe you got to give B a call in Western Michigan.
Michigan. Guy could wrap some serious ice bags on the boys after a 10-kilometer run, eh? I guess we should let's get into your career, eh? We got a lot of talking to do. Okay.
All right.
So you played junior, way to go. But you got recruited to Western Michigan. When did that happen? Is that when you're in Georgetown, the team's good, or when does that happen? And I guess also we should bring up, like, your brother is there. He's the same class as me. So you obviously know the school, you know what's going on down there. So it seems pretty easy for you to be the one they recruit, eh? Sorry for burping the mic.
So at first they didn't like me at first. I think when I was playing on the Vaughan Vipers, we weren't that great of a team. They didn't really like me that much. And I was dying to go there because coming to watch my brother play games in that rink, it was like, I would love to play there. This place is incredible. So
and it is. Yeah.
Yeah. I ended up getting traded, which ended up being a blessing in disguise because I go over to Georgetown and then they actually offered me a spot when in the second round of that playoff run I was talking about before. So Brooksy and Scott Garrow came to watch me, and
so Garrow was still with us.
He was still, but I think that was his last year. After that season, I'm pretty sure he left. Yeah, because my first year, or he might have been there one more year. I can't remember, but he was still there at the time when they recruited me. So
did you look at any other schools?
I was talking to a couple other schools, but it wasn't really too serious at the time.
Yeah.
So they just came right out and said, and I always wanted to go there anyways, because like I said, going to watch my brother play there was incredible. So I had nothing to think about. I was sold. I didn't even need to think about it. I right on the spot. I just said, I'm in.
Yeah. And you did have like an opportunity right from the start. I guess the way it had gone was they were looking for a new starter, right? And you jumped right in, and it was your net, right?
Yeah, right off the start. I think my first 2 years, I started every game except for 2.
Yeah, and I think I want to talk to you about it because I see what your career did afterwards, and it affected my career as well. Did you ever play man-on-man defense anywhere else?
No. No,
No.
I remember you were talking to my brother about this one.
Oh, did
And
I? I never
have a
know who I talked to about what. I
yeah,
don't. I talked to him about it too then, eh?
yeah,
So I
no,
probably brought up my Syracuse story.
yeah, exactly. Where you your first practice, you were chasing around the D-man. I can't remember what his
Well, that
name
was
was.
literally my Andy Delmore. It was literally my first practice ever in pro. But like, as soon as I did that, and that's my first practice, that's my first impression in pro, is that practice. And we're playing D zone where a winger really just needs to hang out and make sure you block the shots, right?
Yeah,
You're just,
exactly.
you come down and help out a little, but you really don't have to do much, right? And
Yeah, no, there.
instead, I chased the guy all the way around, and the coach blows the whistle and says, "What are you doing?" I was done from that day on. So when I see your save percentage, I feel like as soon as you left and started playing, say, different D zones, your save percentage drastically changed as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, my first. We'll move into Asiago when we get there, but
Yeah,
yeah, it was a little bit more. I don't know. It's tough to say. My save percentage did get better, but I think at the end of the day, I got better too, and I think
right.
that contributed quite a bit. But I know what you're talking about, and one of the I don't know if we want to get into the reason why I left Western Michigan after 3 years, but
Well, it was on the notes.
yeah. Why don't we start with the first year and then we can build to that after? Let's start with the first year.
Yeah, sure. So
So,
I looked it up as your first year was my junior year. That's pretty well my best year of hockey, but and our team wasn't that bad, right? Like,
no,
and
I
you're a
thought we,
freshman goalie as a starter, and like you played pretty well. We were pretty decent that year, right?
yeah, that year there we lost. We had Northern Michigan in the playoffs on the ropes there,
Mm.
and
Navigating lieutenant.
yeah, and I think about that series all the time actually, and I feel like I kind of let the team down a little bit in that one there because we had the lead going into the third period in game two. I think what were we up by 2 or 3, Wally?
Do you want to know what I remember about that series?
What do you got?
Um, I am after we lost in the third game in 3 nights, right? You play a best of three Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
We get put out, and then it's like the next week you go to Joe Louis for the award ceremony. So I was up for some awards, and it's just me and Chewy going with the coaches. And where we leave Kalamazoo, and something comes up, and it was something to do with why we lost Northern Michigan. And I mean, I haven't said anything on here too bad, but Jim Colhane said, "No, Wally, the reason we lost to Northern Michigan is because your body couldn't handle 3 games in 3 nights." And I never said another word from Kalamazoo to Detroit. I was all CCHA second team. I had 50 points, and the coach told me I was the reason we lost in the playoffs. And I was like, wow,
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. I don't know.
So
we
I
don't need
guess
to
I
get,
said that on here. I kept that one in too.
yeah, I don't want to complain too much, but like I said, going back to this one, I feel like I let the team down a little bit on that one because, if I could have just made a couple more big saves in the third period, I think, maybe we go even further after Joe Louis. Who knows, right? Who knows what can happen from there? But again, that was a little bit of inexperience on my end too, just being a freshman. I
See,
mean,
you would remember stuff totally different than me. I don't remember you letting us down at all in that series. I literally don't remember any of that. I remember that drive to Detroit.
I remember we were up by two. We were up by 2 or 3 going into the third period, and I remember the second intermission. Our team was so pumped in the dressing room. It kind of got to me a little bit. I started, okay, just hang on, hang in there, just hang in there. And
We always act like it was such a big deal to make it to Joe Louis, like Joe Louis, Joe Louis. And
yeah,
it's like, why are we aiming to make it to the top 6? That's
yeah,
not a goal.
I know it was, but we got really pumped up in the dressing room, and I think I just got a little bit too antsy and a little jittery. And
So what, we blew it in game 3 in the third period or something, or what?
no, that was game two. I think game two we had them on the ropes because we won
Oh,
game
so we
one.
almost won 2 straight.
Yeah, and then game 3, I think they kind of. I don't even think that was a close game. I can't remember 100%, but
Yeah.
yeah, it was an adjustment going to university for me too. I remember you saying that it was you were a kid living at home and going to Western Michigan. I mean, it was quite the same for me actually, because I think going into university, I think in my whole life, I think I only had maybe 10 drinks before I even went there.
And then you start
And
hanging out with guys like
then they
Stretch and
start getting
Daryl and
nice.
Yance and me.
I get to, and we were talking about the part. What was those apartments called?
The U Club.
The U Club. That's right.
Yeah.
So I go to my first party at the U Club, and I get there, and you guys are throwing darts at each other and turning each other upside down, and fucking. I got Bicyc's got a dart hanging out of his leg. I'm going, what are you guys? What the hell is this? Hey, Belly, you want to jump in play some darts? No, I'm good, thanks, guys.
I remember when that girl hit him in the foot with the dart, and the blood squirted like 10 feet in the air.
Yeah. So I mean, that was a different world. I was like, hockey wise, I felt like I was okay, but the rest outside of hockey it was a big adjustment trying to fit in with you guys, and I wasn't much of a drinker. I didn't like the taste of alcohol at the time.
That would be a bit much. Yeah, we didn't try to pressure you too much, did we?
No, not at all. But I want to fit in with the guys. I want to be a part of the stories. So it was a bit of an adjustment for me off the ice first year for sure.
Well, and like looking back on it, like realistically, you're young and you're dumb, and like I wish I would have done things differently too, right? Like I wish I would have been a better leader instead of, more just like I thought I led on with my play on the ice, but then I also led with planning the fun times after the games too, right?
It's university and you got to have fun too. It's part of the whole thing.
Well, and like it was just tough, right? Because by the end of so year 2, moving on. So then your brother leaves you, right? So you want to go there, you want to play with him, and then I guess if you want to listen to that, folks, listen to episode 25. But Vinny leaves after his junior year, and that's during a lockout where he can't even sign like an NHL deal. And so then he leaves, and then you're there without him, right? And you're saying you're already having those feelings and a bit of anxiety or whatever, like socially or whatever you want to call it, but adjusting. Yeah. And then now your brother's not even there with you.
Yeah, you know what? I think by the second year, I kind of settled in a little bit with you guys a little bit more. Me, I was always a bit of an introvert at the time.
Were you? I see. Like for me, you'd be tighter with the guys your age, and I was in my little bubble with Stretch and Yachts and them, right? Like I just figured I invited everybody, and whoever wants to come can come.
I would be there with you guys, but I wouldn't. You guys were on a different level. Let's just put it that way. I'm sipping one beer the whole night, and every sip going, oh God, this tastes awful. But no, second year.
No, you're right. Things got carried away a few times. They got carried away. You're right. Yeah, you're right.
Okay. So, but yeah, next year we ended up winning the playoff series the next year. I didn't think we were that bad the next year either.
Yeah, we were bad in the regular season, but then we greased one out. We were like second last, man. Like that was the year when we would do all the suicides, right?
Oh, geez. Every time we took a penalty, we had to do
they put the buckets out at center for us to puke in.
Yeah, that's right. And then during the games, every time someone takes a penalty, it's just like,
we're gonna deal with that on Tuesday or Monday, and you can't play hockey like that. You can't be like, oh my God, I want to get that puck, but man, if I take a penalty, I'm gonna make everybody skate a suicide and me.
I remember the practices were they were long practices. I remember sometimes being on the ice for over 2 hours. Do you remember that or no?
Yep. No, practices were extremely long, and you would battle. It was harder than games, way harder than games.
Yeah. And at least, and I remember for me, it was standing on the ice for a long time and not really getting that many shots. And then at some point,
because it would be World War III in the corner, and
And then 4 goalies. I think that year we had 4 goalies because they brought that kid in from BC. We had 4 goalies that year. And it's just, I started getting a little bit agitated that year with some of the things that were going. I remember we had a game before we were playing Michigan, and we went for a run before morning skate to go touch the Bronco at there was that Bronco statue.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
You ran, yeah, the Bronco way down the road, and you ran down there and back the day of the game
before morning skate. Then you go on for morning skate, and by the time the game comes, it's like you're done.
Oh yeah, no,
And it was such a build up to those games too, and it's by the time mentally you were just.
And like the practice week, like I'm sure everybody could have do-overs, right? And I'm sure if we asked the coaches, which I probably will at some point, is like if they could have a do-over, which, you know, assistant coaches don't make the final call either, but it's like now that we know more and it's not about like testing yourself against each other all week and seeing who's the toughest, it's like be ready for the game against the other team.
Exactly. I can understand, like, guys are trying to get in and out of the lineup. So that was a big week for guys trying to get in the lineup and guys trying to stay in the lineup. But I mean, practices don't need to drag on for 2 hours. You can go out there for an hour and 15, go hard. And
yeah, or let the game against the other team decide. And like, if the kid had a good game, which is what matters, then maybe they don't have to beat the shit out of each other all week. And we'll just play that guy again if he played good. And if he didn't, we'll take him out and put in a different guy, you know?
Exactly.
Then we could all be friends too.
Exactly. Because I remember some scraps out there every once in a while in practice. So
I saw your brother and Yacht's fight, and they were buddies still. And they were buddies right after, but it was I've gotten a fight in practice against one of the seniors when I'm a freshman. The guy could have killed me, but that was the culture. That's what we were doing, right?
I remember I got into
games changed.
I got into it one time with Claxon. Guy's an animal.
He might have ate you.
Yeah, I was not too good at picking my spots. And I got another story. We can get into that one too after about picking spots. So, but
if you want to go with it now, you do it.
All right, let's do it. So I'm at it's the off season, and I get a call from a friend of mine. There's some kind of like money tournament that happens at one of the rinks over here in Brampton, and it's basically a bunch of ex-pro guys and some pro guys. They get together, they put money in a pot, and they have a tournament. And
that would get competitive as hell.
Yeah,
you're playing for money, like your own money. Who's putting the money in the pot?
It's not like it's like your team wins a few $100 to have beers after. It's not like you're winning.
Okay, I was gonna say. Okay,
yeah. It's not a lot of money. So they call me. Their goalie dropped out the day before. So you could do us a favor. Come on, jump in and play this money tournament. And I go, you know what? I really don't want to. Like, I worked out. I'm in preseason training, you know, all week. I don't want to play in a money tournament with guys. Some guys aren't even playing anymore. I'm like, I don't really want to play in this. No thanks. Like, okay, try and find another guy. If you can't find another guy, I'll come and play. No problem. So they don't find another guy. It's a weekend tournament. Sunday morning, it's the last game. It's the final game. And before the game, they go, this team, by the way, they take this really serious. They got some real tough guys, and they're probably going to get on your case. But right away, my temperature goes up like 5 degrees. I'm going, what do you mean? Well, one guy leads the NHL in penalty minutes for the last 3 years. And before those 3 years, led the AHL in penalty minutes, 2 years. There's another guy that gets into like 40 fights a year in the East Coast. Another guy gets into fights in the Central League. And I'm going, oh my God.
And is this the final game?
This is the final game.
Oh boy. For the money.
It's 9 in the morning, but it's 9 in the morning on Sunday morning, where I probably ended up sleeping a couple hours that night. So I'm at the rink. I don't want to be there. And I get this guy telling me this, and I'm going, okay, I think I'll be all right already, but already in my head, it's in my head. So we're on the ice. Game starts, puck comes to me. I freeze it. The guy comes, snows me, chops me on the hand. And he goes, fuck you, pussy. And I go, holy shit, it was the guy, the NHL guy. We don't need to name any names because we don't want. So, and I go, holy fuck, what the fuck is that? I'm like, relax, buddy. It's Sunday morning. Like, what the hell's wrong with you? So sure enough, next play, again, comes, Puck's around me. He's chopping. It's a loose puck. He's chopping me, and I'm going, okay, what the fuck is going on here? Enough's enough. Couple shifts later, same guy comes in, dumps it in. My D-man goes, play it. And I'm going, oh my God, you've got to be shitting me. I go out and play the puck. Doesn't the same guy, NHL guy here,
ran ya.
lays me out.
Shut up.
Lays me out. And then right then my body temperature went way. I go, fuck this guy, he's done. So I grab my stick from the butt end. I bring it right up to this guy. My blade must have almost touched the ceiling. I brought it up so high, and just boom, right on his foot. He goes down like a sack of potatoes. Next thing you know, I got about 4 guys jumping me. So all these guys that called me out to do them a favor just disappeared. We're nowhere to be found. I'm there by myself, and I got 5 guys punching me in the head. So the one guy's down, he's out, because I heard I broke his foot. I don't know if that's true, but I heard I broke his foot. And these guys, the 2 refs, I got Frankie the electrician and Johnny the works at a restaurant or something, reffing. These guys are the only guys that are trying to help me from not getting murdered. So I literally just put my hand in my glove, and the refs are trying to break it up, and I am just getting punched from everywhere. And then
how long does that go on?
It went on for about a minute. It was about a minute. And then ref goes, you know what? I'm going to throw you out of the game because you don't need to be here. And I said, please get me out of here. Throws me out of the game. I go home. But yeah, picking my spots.
You still play hockey after that?
Well, this was when I was still playing.
That was when you were still playing?
Yeah, I think at the time I was playing in Italy.
Seriously?
Yeah, so it was the off season. So these guys called me out to play in this tournament. I did.
Yeah.
And then once shit got a little bit nasty, these guys that I was doing a favor for.
I was thinking this was when you're done. I might have been okay. That is.
I haven't the last time I put the pads on was against Sweden.
So that guy was currently in the NHL.
No, this was back in the day. This was like.
But he was in the NHL when this was happening, or
he was in the NHL at the time.
Yeah.
And all these other guys were in the coast and the CHL, and these guys were tough guys. And I actually, right after that, I had to go to a family picnic because we had.
But you know what I respect about that is, like, when someone's doing that shit to you, like it's like the same for me when someone's trying to like bully me or do that shit. I got so long until I'm going to do something like that they're going to remember. And then it's going to be like, well, where do we go from here?
Yeah. So actually I heard that he went down like a sack of potatoes, and I hit him real hard with my stick. It was so
on the side of the foot, or
no, right on the laces, Wally.
On the laces, broke it. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Came from right up, and I just went boom, right on his foot.
That could get him. Yeah. Top of the foot. That'll get him. Boom. Nailed him. Okay. Next question. I don't know where we were, what we're doing. We're in Western Michigan, right?
Yeah, we're in Western. We can go to the third year if you want.
Well, I wasn't there. But the year before, like you said, yeah, we won a playoff series, but we weren't having fun. The players on the team weren't happy. Like the only release we had was away from the rink, and like the workouts and like some of the runs they made us do, and like the threats of like, if you lose this game, we're going to run the stairs until you guys like shit yourselves. And we would lose the game because we'd be scared to play, and we're not zen at all. And everybody was on edge. The coaches were on edge. I think they knew they were kind of on their way out or whatever was happening, but it was a mess.
It was a mess. I remember off the ice, we were a pretty solid team. Everybody got along. But then it was like, soon as we got to the rink, it was like a switch went, and it was like we weren't a team anymore at the rink. No. It was a strange, very strange feeling.
You're right.
Yeah, and then you're not going to win any games if you're not a team at the rink. That's for sure.
Yep.
And
no, you're right.
Yeah, we had to do a lot of running. The running really got to me. I remember having shin splints like crazy all the time.
Well, and it was like they were the different running, right? Like we almost, yeah.
Then the stadium stairs at the football field, I remember those.
Well, and
And
like some of it can be good for you, and then sometimes I knew they were just seeing like if who they could break, right? And like the runs would be so long. There was the one day, I think it was like a 5 kilometer run or whatever, and then when you got back and you think you're done because you're getting timed and they're watching you to see who's the fastest. We get through or I didn't do it because I was hurt, but you guys got through the finish line and they said, turn around and do it again. And it was like 5. That was when Yancey almost died, right?
Yeah, actually, I remember that. That was my first day. That was my freshman year, my first day.
Really?
First workout. And
my roommate almost died from that.
Yeah, I remember. There's no way I could do this every day. After that run, because I thought we were going to have to do it every day. And that was, I was way behind. I finished in last. I remember Brooksy actually came back all the way back and ran with me because I was so far behind all you guys.
Oh,
I was not a good runner. I was not.
No, but you had to run to survive there. Like we did a lot of running around that time.
Yeah, and it was like those were long days because we would do like 2-hour workouts, maybe longer, a lot of running, and then go do the 2-hour practices.
Well, and then you still had to go to school.
Yeah. So.
No, I was pretty tired a lot. I had a lot of naps.
Yeah, it was a little bit much.
If you could mix in a 10-minute drooler, you took it every chance you could, right? Like
I remember just begging for the season to get there. Let's just stop with these.
Just stop with the September month where you have no sticks on the ice and you just skate and work out.
Yeah, what was the deal with that? With the no sticks?
Did you know that? Well, no. The rule is if you trust your players and you think that they want to be good at hockey and they want to get better, that you can just let them have captains practices and then they're allowed to go out and run practices just without coaches. But if the coaches want to be on the ice, then you're not allowed pucks or blades. So that's what we did.
Yeah, and that's I don't know what the.
I don't know if that helped us as much as maybe practicing with pucks and sticks, but enough. We're not complaining, right, Dad?
Well, hey, we're just we're just saying it like it is.
We're just airing it out, right? Because you know what's happened for me during all this is all the stuff that weighed on my mind. I've gotten off my chest, I've gotten off my shoulders, and I tell you, I feel great.
It's therapy.
It is. It is. This has been another episode with Dr. Walton.
You know what? It's good to get it off the chest, though, for real.
It really is. It feels good, doesn't it? We haven't talked since 2006, Dan.
Exactly. It's true. And yeah, and I can actually get some about the third year. That's when shit really went south for me. I'll tell you that much.
Okay, so, go ahead, because this is when I'm toiling away in the East Coast.
Yeah. So third year comes. I had a good start to the year. Things were going pretty good. I was feeling pretty good, and then we had a road matchup versus Nebraska Omaha. So I remember we had this great idea that we were going to come up with this new penalty kill.
Was it the same as the team we played the week before?
I don't know.
Sorry, go ahead. I didn't know. Go ahead.
So this was the game plan, and they thought this was like this was genius. And I'm thinking all week in practice, like this is not going to work. We're going to get murdered. I'm thinking all week in practice. So basically what we would do is every time we shoot the puck down the ice, we would stay at our blue line and line up 4 guys on the blue line.
Standing still?
Standing still. And they would just come down on us full speed, and we got murdered both games. We just got murdered both games.
You didn't do that.
I'm telling you, we did that. I'm telling you.
Like you didn't go up to the blue line and come back to get some speed and get the gap.
There might have been a minor gap, but for the most, I'll tell you right now, it wasn't past the red line. That's for sure. Because I remember them just chipping it by us every time and just coming right in on me. And we ended up, I think I gave up 12 that weekend in the 2 games. So it wasn't a good weekend. I didn't play that great. I'm not going to say that it was all it was all this penalty kill idea, but that weekend happens. Next weekend we had 1 game against Wayne State, and Riley Gill was the goalie that came in as a freshman. Played a good game, got a shutout. So the next weekend, Brooksy, who's been in my ear all week going, you had a good start to the year. Forget that Nebraska weekend. You got a couple NHL teams probably coming to watch you in Ohio State. I'm going, fucking beautiful. Finally going to get some momentum because we were underdogs on that team, Wally. There wasn't any, we didn't have any big stars. You know what I mean? We were all underdog guys. So anytime you get some traction, you get excited.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So you know how the practices go the week before the game. I'm starting to get the feeling that I'm not going to play. So all week it's building. So it's like I'm getting pissed off more every day. So Wednesday comes.
So the other kid had just got a shutout, but then they say there's NHL teams coming to watch you.
Yeah. And I'm getting the feeling that, okay, they're coming to watch. And like I said, you get excited because we're underdogs. Anytime someone's coming to watch, it's a big thing for us. So I go up to Jim after the practice and I go, I don't think, am I playing this weekend or not? He goes, you know what? Riley had a big shout in his first game. We're gonna ride him. And right away, my temperature just, I got super pissed. I regret that day. I think about that day a lot, and I wish I can have that day back, but because I did not handle it properly. But I got really pissed, and basically that was the end of my college career for the most part. I think I ended up, we don't need to get into the story is exactly what happened, but I ended up hurting my shoulder that same day. And I was out for a couple months, came back, only played a couple more games. And then I just decided after that year, I decided I got to go. No more of this. And I left and that's when I decided to go to Italy.
Yeah. So, okay. We don't have to get in the story, but you hurt your shoulder, but like, that's the thing is like the passion hockey guys have for their career and getting an opportunity like that you worked your entire life to get to that point, and then they tell you they're coming, and it's like,
yeah. And then I was pissed. Like, again, I'm not going to make any excuses. I didn't handle the situation like I should have. I was way too, even my whole hockey career, I was a little bit too emotional. I used to get up and down way too much. You know, when things didn't go my way, I would get a little bit too pissed. If I can rewind, I would probably try and be a little bit more.
Not too high, not too low.
Exactly. Because
you have good games, you have bad games. Woolen chop, brown ale.
Yeah. that day actually ruined my career trying to make it to the NHL for the most part.
Yeah, so I can understand why you're so mad. Because there was different things in my time there too that are upsetting, like my junior year.
Let's rewind though. Let's talk about the school, because the school is excellent. It's
seriously, it has everything you need there to be, I think, like a top high-end college team. You
100%.
Have everything you need, and I guess like it's been proven afterwards that like you can win at Western Michigan. And it's a great school, it's a great city, and I'm thankful for everything those coaches did for me. They recruited me, they believed in me, they gave me every opportunity to succeed while I was there. And then there was also tough times, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we don't need to, I think we should put Western Michigan behind us for the rest of this combo, because
absolutely, she's in the rear view mirror back. This was the last time we talked, okay? We had to air it out because we haven't talked since 2006.
It's true, because you know what? Ever since that, I haven't really kept contact with any of the boys, really. I think they're a little bit pissed off with me for what happened that day and then for leaving. So it's good just to, if any of them listen, it wasn't just me giving up on the team. It was, it was that day, it was a tough day for me. One of the hardest days of my life, probably, actually.
Wow, yeah, and
because,
that's
like you
shit
said,
you remember, right?
Yeah, like you said, like hockey's at that time, hockey's your life, right? When you're trying to make the NHL and
you're finally getting close. You've dreamed of it your whole life, and then you have NHL teams, and then they bring up that like it's that close, and now you're not going to play me because of a freshman that had one good game. I could get it, like I get it. Yep.
And like I played every game except for 2 before that in my whole 2.25 years. I mean,
Right.
play me in one more game. Is that?
But the other thing is like if they're not gonna play you, don't tell you that there's NHL teams coming either.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's
So,
that's not on the that's not good.
but I don't think I think Brooksy meant well. I don't think he meant
Right. No, he wants to get you excited and he wants
Yeah.
you get ready to prepare for the week. And
Yeah, when he was telling me, he probably was assuming I was playing anyway. So I'm not gonna blame it
Yeah.
on that.
no, and I understand that.
Yeah.
Okay,
So I just apologize to all the boys for that. So
well, no, and I think you know what, like when you talk about it this long after, and like people don't understand other people's situations and like what's said to them and what goes on, and like everybody has a different experience in different teams because of their relationship with the coaches, with the players, with everybody, and then like it's all affected. And like I mean, I don't know, so like sometimes it's like when it's an unhealthy situation, like I mean,
like I didn't know that story you just told me.
what did I tell you?
The one where you were driving to the awards. I didn't know that story.
Right. Well, you weren't in the car with Chewy and I. I bet you he remembers it because it was the most awkward car ride of my life because I was so angry I could have karate chopped him in the throat while he was sitting in the passenger seat. And I'm like, look, like I just was up for the Hobie Baker and you're saying I'm the reason we lost. And I'm like, you know what? And then I decided to go back there instead of leave. Right. And it's like, yeah, and then the next year didn't go any better, right? So there you go. Moving on. We're so gone. We're out of there. Moving on. Anyways.
So I decided to go to Italy, and the crazy thing about that is
question. So you already left school before you have any deal?
Yeah, I already made a decision that I was. So I didn't. Tough how the timing was. I can't really remember it 100%, but I'm pretty sure I was. This team in Italy, Asiago, they wanted me there, so it was kind of I had the spot already.
Do you already have your Italian passport at that point?
Yeah, I had it already. So.
Okay. So anyways, you go there and it looked to me like, yeah, like now that I've been to Italy, and like I said this to your brother too, like when I'm from Elmira, and like we've said, I never left home. I knew Mennonites, I knew Elmira, I knew our area. And then, my roommates are kind of all small town boys too, somewhat. And then like I didn't know Italians, I didn't know different cultures, I didn't know different people until I got out in the world and like saw it, right? And like I didn't get your brother, I didn't get you and like the way you guys are wired, but like now that I've been to Italy, now that I've seen it, like, and I could just see how you go there and just, I don't know, kind of feel at home, but like you're having fun again. Hockey's fun again. Like you enjoy it. You're one of the boys and you feel at home. And when hockey's like that, you play so much better.
It's true, but not so fast, Wally, because that first year was actually a really tough year.
I saw you guys were up for relegation, eh?
Yeah, so we that was actually a really tough year. So actually, I committed to this team, and right before the season, they actually almost folded. So that
really, and then they're winning the championship 3 years later.
Yeah, so we almost folded, and that would have left me in a really bad spot because then where do I go after that, right? Because
all the starting jobs are pretty well taken.
And I'm not going back to Western Michigan because I already told them I'm gone.
Yeah.
So I'm at that. So now it's getting towards the end of August, and they're saying that there might not be a season. They might fold because they were terrible for so many years before. So they've found a new sponsor, got the thing going, and we had a bad team. We were not good. We were. I probably had some 70 shot games for sure. But that was a tough year because first game of the season, one of my teammate had a heart attack and died on the ice. First game of the season, Darcy Robinson. So that was
what?
Yeah, that was my first pro game. So that was tough. That was really tough. I only met him I was there for maybe 3 weeks. And
on the ice?
3-4 weeks. Yeah, right on the ice. That was a really tough one. That one hit us hard. And first pro game, again, moving across
Yeah.
the ocean, new country, and that was tough.
Knew everything, right? Yeah.
That was tough. And they canceled a couple games, but our very first, they rescheduled the game like a week later, maybe it was 2 weeks anyway. And we redid the game, and we get spanked because our team is just not
Yeah,
we're not there on the ice. We end up losing. I think the score was 9-0. And I remember after that game, I think I had a bit of a meltdown in my room by myself. Like, what the heck? I was playing. Zero fans, you know what I mean? I was playing in Los and Lunatics the year before.
Yeah.
And
now you're in Italy and you're losing 9-0 and there's no fans and you're like, what am I doing?
Yeah, it was so you know what, we battled it out. I had a great roommate, one of my good friends now, Nick Plastino. He's actually still playing in Italy right now, but I think it's in the Austrian league. He's playing in Bolzano. So we kept each other, going the whole year. He's probably one of my best friends now.
What's the name?
Nick Plastino.
Where's he from? Do you know?
He's from Sault Ste. Marie.
Okay.
Yeah, he came over from the Barrie Colts. So yeah, that year we were bad. I think we ended up winning 6 games, something like that. We were a bad team. We are up for relegation. But the funny thing with the relegation, I don't think it was actually relegation. Because even if we lost, I think we still, I don't remember. But
yeah,
anyway,
those things could happen over there. It's like if nobody's willing to come up, you're just playing for fun. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So second year we were a bit better. Still, I think we finished towards the bottom of the standings, but we were a bit better. So we were starting to build momentum. Our young Italian kids, because the year before, most of our Italian kids were young.
How many imports in that league?
I think at the time we had 3 lines of imports. So
really?
it was a pretty good league. Like, it was all guys from the A, East Coast, a couple of guys that played in the NHL a little bit. So it was a pretty good league. Like, I would put it probably comparable to maybe the East Coast, in between the East Coast and the AHL. Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, but it was a pretty good league. So second year we were a bit better, and then the third year is when we got really good. Yeah.
So what I know you come into your own, but like, you also got to get feeling more comfortable living in Italy, moving 100%. Away. And like, you've been there for 2 years. Cause like, I know for me, the first year in Germany, like, if I would have felt more comfortable and everything wouldn't have been so new and weird, then like, I probably could have played better if I was just focusing on that.
Yeah. It was, you're right. I was getting a little bit more comfortable. I love the town. The people loved me. So it was like, I could do no wrong there, basically. So
I've heard this, and this is even when you're in relegation, and then the next year you're not that good, and they still loved you.
Oh yeah, because
it didn't just start year 3.
What's that?
The love didn't just start year 3.
No, it was right from the start. Because even when we were bad, like I would keep us in games pretty good. Like you
were doing well.
Yeah, I was playing pretty good. So they were. They love me. I don't know. I don't want to brag about myself.
But like, it's a podcast, and your brother's touched on a little bit with me on his pod, and like and chatting with him else otherwise. But like, he says like they loved you. There's a story we'll get to, but sounds like when you win, it's called the Scudetto. Is that what it's called?
Scudetto, yeah.
Scudetto is the trophy. Rumor has it like 4,000 fans raced the ice or marched onto the ice and started ripping off your equipment and clothing. What?
Everything. They were stealing everything off me. My jersey.
Like to take it home to keep it because they won.
Yeah, my jersey was gone. I lost some of my equipment was gone, and the whole ice was just completely filled with people. And it was pandemonium, because it went from like literally the first 2 years we would skate out onto the ice for warm-ups, and there would not be one person in the entire rink.
Winning the whole thing.
Winning the whole thing, and the barn there was people sitting in the stairwells, and it was loud. I'm gonna say it was probably louder than Lawson. to be honest with you. It
Well,
was,
winning changes everything, right? And it's
yeah,
no different. Like for me playing senior A with the Ripley Wolves, the first night I ever went out there, there was 3 people in the crowd, and I'm like, what am I doing here? What am I doing? Like, why am I out here? And then 2 years later, you're in the finals, and
and it's pandemonium.
there's buses going on road trips, and there's lineups around the arena, and it's winning changes everything, right?
Yeah, it does. And then they kicked another gear too in the playoffs, because even in the regular season when we were good, like it wasn't like there was nobody in the rink, but it wasn't like it was in the
Wow,
playoffs.
that's
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah,
No, but like yeah, like regular season isn't as exciting as playoffs. Like if I was like just a hockey fan, I'd rather watch playoffs.
yeah, 100%. But like when you're in Sweden, it was packed every game, whether it was playoffs or
And that's just the level of hockey and the following. But like those teams you play on, that like when you win, they're there. If you don't win, they're not there.
Yeah,
Man, they're 2 different lives.
yeah, exactly. Did you play any games in any teams in Italy or no?
I only played again. I played a game against Written Renown. I know that with Bietigheim in Bietigheim back around then.
So it wasn't in Italy. You didn't play any games in Italy.
I never did play in Italy. No, I vacationed there.
There's some, yeah, it's a beautiful place to go to, but there's some special rinks in that league. I remember my first year, we're playing in Milan, and again, Milan used to get more fans. They had a decent rink. They would probably get 1,500 a game, and then there was like the 150 lunatics behind me, and I remember they're counting down in Italian, but it was like they were counting down from like a high number. It was like 30. It wasn't like they went 5. It was like.
And you 30. Speak Italian?
Yeah. Well, I'm not that bad, and at the time I was better. Now
You're losing it.
Yeah, I've lost it pretty much. So we're in Milan, and all of a sudden they get to 0, and I just get pelted with a bucket of water, drenched all over me. My crease looked like it was just Zamboni, like drenched. They threw a bucket of water over because the stands was kind of higher up.
And over top?
Yeah, it was kind of like halfway up the glass. So they can get like a bucket of water and kind of chuck it up.
And chuck it.
Drenched me. So there's that. Then there's another rink. Brunico plays out of this rink. And the fans used to smoke in the rink. And then they used to blow the smoke through the crack of the
in between the panes of glass.
Yeah, right at me. So I'd be smelling cigarette smoke the whole game. It was just it was different.
But for me, that's hockey. Like that's the shit. That like it's like slap shot. I like that shit.
And
I think it's awesome.
I don't care who you are. Oh, no, that stuff doesn't bother me. When I'm in the zone, I'm in the zone. Fuck that. I can smell cigarette smoke when it's getting blown.
It's hard to focus when you don't smoke.
Exactly. When you're drenched with water.
If I could smell it, that's all I would be able to smell. But it's weird though too, right? When you get into a game, sometimes you like that stuff is happening, but you're also so into what you're doing, right?
Yeah, you're into it, but I could still, like, the guy's blowing cigarette smoke.
You still know what's happening.
Yeah, it's bothering me.
Oh yeah,
I'm not a smoker. It's bothering me. I'm not gonna
but
lie.
you're going to pretend it's not.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're not going to give them the satisfaction, right?
Yeah, so there's some special rinks, and there's some really cold rinks in Italy. So that was different.
So you were in Asiago, and that's so the one guy that's came up before, he's a Cardiff Devil, which is one of my ties. It was Lane Ulmer you played with, eh? He was there a long time and won a bunch, eh?
Very long time, yeah. I think he was with us both of our championships, and then they ended up winning more championships after I left too. But Lane.
So I can't. Yeah, sorry, not to cut off about Lane, but like, so when you're in Italy from year 1, year 2, do you guys get different sponsors, or like, does anything change between year 3? Like, then all of a sudden you guys are rocking and rolling?
Well, I think at that point, I think we might have picked up a couple sponsors, but it was mostly that one sponsor that picked us up when we almost folded. And then we just
started
kind of
turning it around. Yeah.
Right. And then what happened too is a lot of our young Italian players that are actually pretty good players started getting older.
Yeah.
And they started getting some experience too. And then they kind of came into their own, and it was a combination between that and then bringing in some really good imports. And then we just dominated. We were We were sick. We were a sick team. And even at that start of the third year, we were good, but it wasn't like as the year went, we just got better and better. We picked up my brother towards the end of the season. He came over from Germany, and then that just added that was the finishing punch.
Yeah, that's all you guys needed. Then you're over the top. And I got written down here in the playoffs. You had a 1.92 goals against and a 936 save percentage. That's not too bad, eh? Is there a Conn Smythe in that league? Did you win anything?
Yeah, I think I actually won after the third year. I won Player of the Year.
Yeah, I would think so. Because what I wrote down here is that's a career-changing season.
It was. And then after that first championship is when I played my first world championship, because then I've had my 2 years in Italy and I got to play on the national team. And then
So do you have to play 2 years in Italy to then be allowed to play on it?
Yeah. So I don't know what the rule is now. I'm out of touch over there. But at the time you had to play 2 years in Italy. And then if you had your passport, you played 2 years, you were considered an Italian.
But when you play in the world championships, do you not play for free?
It's free pretty much. You're not making, they give you
like per diem
pretty much. Basically, yeah.
No, and that's what a lot of like it's a awesome feather in the cap, and like it's incredible you got to do that.
Yeah, at that point you're not, money's the last thing on
but
your
money's not what you're doing it for, right? It's for like to get to do it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Now that's pretty cool you got to do that. So yeah, that year changes your career. And so making Team Italy, like how do you find out? And then like is there tryouts, or do they just say like you're on the team? And then how do you become the starter? Because did you not start?
Yeah, so actually I think they have so throughout the season they have camps. So whenever there's the national team breaks.
You didn't get that?
No, I would go to the national team for our mini camps, and then usually we would go play a mini tournament somewhere. So there was those camps that were basically like tryouts for the world championships. Those were competitive camps too, and actually very similar to Western Michigan kind of camps. Like they were, we would do 2-a-days before the world championships. We would do 2-a-days right up until the week before, which is. Yeah, I know.
Man, Europeans with the fitness and everything, like,
yeah,
I know I'm not one to preach, that we all know that.
Like it's the end of the season.
Sometimes you should feel fresh for the game.
Yeah, it's the end of the season. Is it really necessary to be? Everybody's in shape. You know, we just played a full season. Is it really, really necessary to play to do 2-a-days? So, but basically, I was going to the camps throughout the year, and then. Actually, the first game was against Canada in the World Championships. That was in Germany, actually.
I thought you guys were in the lower division.
No, my first one was in the upper division.
In the top.
Because the year before they had won the second division to move up.
Okay.
So my first World Championships was the one in Germany. So
and who's the goalie that won it the year before?
It was
is he still around?
I think he was still around. Yeah, he was still around. He was.
And you took his job even after winning the gold? That's pretty good.
Yeah, so he started the first game. Actually, he was the third goalie. The goalie that won it the year before ended up being the third goalie. So the second goalie, or the other goalie, he started the first game against Canada, and he got yanked after the second period. And then I came in and had a really good third period. It was.
I think I was watching it, actually.
Yeah, I had a pretty good third period. And then I ended up playing the next game. I ended up getting player of the game against Switzerland. I think we ended up losing 2 or 3-0, but I ended up with like 55 saves or something.
Do you know how cool it is for me when I'm sitting at home and I watch the World Championships and I'm like, Danny's in the World Championships. Yeah. Like I know him. Like, and then I watch you play Canada, and like if anybody thinks I'm cheering for Canada, you're so wrong, because like literally I'm like, this would be the best thing ever if he stops 98 shots and they win 1-0. That would be the coolest thing.
Wally, that makes me feel good, buddy.
That is like when I watch hockey, it's hard for me to really care what team wins, right? I'm watching people
But
play.
exactly. It's the same for me now, pretty much too. When I'm watching, if I'm watching a guy that I used to play with or something, I'm cheering for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it just I like watching how everybody plays. But anyways,
Yeah,
okay.
that was a sick World Championships. Actually, Germany did a great job. That they put on a good.
Where'd you go in Germany? Where was it?
So all of our games were in Mannheim except for our last one ended up being in not Berlin, Cologne.
Okay. Yeah,
Our
no,
last
I've
game
been to
was
the
in,
Mannheim Arena. It's a sweet place, isn't it?
yeah, it
What a
was.
facility.
Yeah, and it was every game was almost packed, so it was good. It was
Yeah.
good. So we ended up getting relegated.
Well, so for the goalie that's, hurting his shoulder at Western Michigan, leaving after his junior year, giving up the scholarship, doesn't have a deal in Italy yet, and now you're playing in the World Championships 3 years later, playing against Canada. And then like I'm watching it and I'm like, holy shit, like this is awesome. Like, look at what he's done. And like that doesn't happen for many people, right? The way it all went.
Yeah, I mean, and that was the playing in the World Championships is actually what gave me the ability to move up and go to Sweden later on, because then we ended up winning another championship the following year. And then the next year we played in the World Championships, the second tier, because we got relegated the year before, and that one was in Budapest, Hungary, and that was also sick because we ended up beating them in overtime
You
to
beat
win
Hungary to win gold.
in their rink with 15,000 fans. And I remember they were handing out packets of gum before the game. And after we scored in overtime, the fans were so pissed. They threw all these packs. There was like 15,000 packs of gum on the ice. We were just getting pelted from everywhere. Actually, if you go on YouTube, you could probably see all the gum on the ice.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that was, we ended up beating them in overtime to go back to the top World Championships the next year. But so Budapest is like, it's the porn capital of Europe. It's like
the porn capital.
The porn capital of Europe.
Is that right?
I don't know if you know a guy named Rocco Siffredi.
Nope.
He's
oh, knee just went. Hold on, one sec. Thrasher Belgian whip here. Knee just popped. Okay, go ahead.
Throw some ice on that thing, Wally.
I had some on earlier. She's just got to deal with it for a second.
Rocco Siffredi, Italian porn star.
Okay.
He's probably the most popular porn star in Europe.
He's Italian?
He's Italian, but he lives in Budapest because that's where all the action is. So, one of the guys on our team knew his agent. So we're on the way there on the bus.
The porn star's agent?
Yeah. Or his PR manager or whatever. I don't know. One of his guys.
Carry on.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
The guy on our team calls the agent and says, listen, we're coming there to play the World Championships. We want to meet this guy. And the guy goes, okay, let me ask him. So he hangs up the phone. He calls the guy and he agrees to meet us for dinner.
This is the porn star, the biggest
porn star in Europe.
So when I go to the World Championships, that's not really my first phone call, to see male porn stars. But you guys do you. Italy, you guys do you. If that's what you guys are into, you do it.
This guy's the boss. So he ends up agreeing. So we go meet this unreal Italian restaurant in Budapest. We're waiting there for like an hour and a half. He's not coming. So finally, he shows up. He walks through the doors, and he kind of like opens the doors like this, and our whole team kind of looks at him. He throws his arm in the air, his arms in the air, and he goes, "Sorry, boys. Sorry, I was late. I was at work." And then all the boys just start going, "Ah!" So he had dinner with us, and he was a great guy, and it was awesome. It was anyway. That was.
So you met the biggest porn star in Europe in Hungary, and this is before you win the championship?
This was like the first day we got there.
So what happens after you guys win gold? Are you a little more seasoned now from your U Club days where you couldn't really drink a beer? Like, you win the gold medal in Budapest. If you don't floor it I'm gonna karate chop you through the computer screen.
No, we did. This is it, by the way. I keep
Look
it
at
right
that.
here on
That's
my
a
desk.
gold medal, world championship gold medal, folks.
Yeah.
I haven't seen one of those on the pod yet. Bounsy's got one. By the way, I better bring this up now. Is you and Ben Bounds, the other goalie from the UK, who brought the UK from the 3rd division to the 2nd division to the 1st division, and now I see him on TSN, and I saw you on TSN, and I'm like, Jesus, all these guys, like, it's incredible.
The UK's come a long way in hockey.
It really has, big time. The whole league has it's not just the imports, it's the British players too.
Yeah, I mean that year, I can't remember who they beat, but they beat a big team to stay up, I think, in the World Championships, didn't they, a couple years ago?
When they scored the overtime winner against France to move up, right. it was a wild one. Yeah,
that's right. I remember that. I was watching it. So,
and when you know all the boys too, right? It's a little different watching the game. It's not like, and that's why, like, I cheer for my friends when they're playing. Like,
I'll be honest, I was watching that game. I was cheering for them too. So. And I don't even know any of the guys, but that was a great story. The UK's come a long way.
Yeah, no, you're right. Where are we?
So we ended up winning the gold.
No,
we went out. We went out, Wally.
Yeah. Okay. So you did go out.
We had a great time. We went to this club, and it was sick. The music was unreal. There was hot.
And you get the whole team together, and you got gold medals, and you're just feeling life.
Oh yeah, we're going nuts. There's hot tubs in this place. There's people taking their clothes off in the hot tubs. There's girls dancing all over. It was wild. It was the sickest place I ever been to.
And this is not long after you had just won the championship in Asiago, which we can't skip over.
Yeah.
So you're just winning shit, and you went from popping out your shoulder, whatever you did, and you're leaving to now winning gold, winning the Italian league. Your confidence has to be up at this point, and you got to be feeling pretty good and enjoying life, eh?
Yeah. So I'm at this point, like, I'm still trying to find a way. How can I somehow still make it to the NHL? That's exactly what's going through my mind this whole
time. You're like, I'm finally proving what I can do.
Exactly.
Before we get into that, though, is DJing at the Magrillo. Nightclub in Italy. I heard that. Can you DJ? Do you know how to do that? How do you do that?
I don't know how to DJ. I was just up there doing whatever. It wasn't like I was the DJ. I just went up there with the DJ, and he was letting me do shit for like 10 minutes. It wasn't like
Well, rumor has it you had the whole place just a buzz that night.
Oh, I did. It was good.
With the beats you were dropping.
Yeah, no, that was. That was. After winning the Italian championship, I mean, we went nuts for about a week. It was like, I don't think we slept for a week.
So in the steel business, has anybody asked you to DJ lately?
No, nobody.
No. Sign an autograph?
It's not that guy. It's not that exciting.
Nobody's ripped your clothes off at work lately, your equipment?
No, I haven't had that yet. We'll see.
Isn't it weird how life changes so drastically as soon as you just stop doing it?
Yeah, you know what? It's an adjustment, because you go from, I don't want to say you go from being like, you go from being the man to now all of a sudden just like just another guy. You know what I mean?
Well, not even that. You're like so confused of where you fit and what you do and what your purpose is. And you lose your identity, right?
I had a couple tough years after I stopped playing.
Well, and that's what confused me, was because to me, you were 30 years old and just in the Swedish Elite League and in the World Championships. And I'm like, but now, with the family business, if you're going to get into it, if you're not doing it by 30, she's getting pretty late.
And that's exactly it, right? So that's exactly why I decided to.
I think you made the right decision by the sounds of things so far.
Yeah, it was for me. I knew it was time. Even though I was playing good. Even the year before, when I was in Timrå, which was also in the Swedish Elite League, I was playing some good hockey there too. And actually, that was a battle. That was a test, because the other goalie on the team was also a very good Swedish goalie. So we just battled the whole year.
No, and so let's get into that. Well, no, we're not done yet.
Yeah, we're not done yet.
So you win year 3, you then win gold with Italy. And then year 4, you do basically the same thing. You completely dominate the Italy league. You guys win the championship again. and you play for Italy now in Group A. So the stats look a little different, but you're playing different competition and you're not expected, right? Like you
Yeah,
had another incredible year, and like talk about the experiences you're having from like you really did well, sir.
yeah, it was good. And then the second championship was another big championship, and that one was a little bit tougher. I think we might have had a better team the year before, but
And then you're moving up to the A division with a team not as good.
yeah. So, are you talking about the World Championships? Or are you talking?
I don't know. I don't even know where we're at anymore.
Yeah, no. So I'm talking about our second championship with Italy.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Asiago. Your team's
So
not quite as good.
I think we had an easier time the year before. Let's just put it that way. Because the next year we ended up, I think we were down 3-1 in 2 series, and we came back in both of them and came back and won them. So
yeah,
actually,
that's fun.
Here we got another story, Wally. You're gonna like this one. So we're game 6 playing in Brunico, you know, the arena where they blow the glass. So we get pummeled. And they had 2 Finnish goalies. One was the starter and the other one was the backup. The problem is when they beat us in game 6 to go up 3-2, they dressed both goalies, and you're only allowed to dress one import goalie. So what ended up happening is that guy was chirping me the whole game from the bench, ripping me, trying to get me off my game. So he was ripping me the whole game. And him being on the bench actually ended up costing them, because they took the win away from him because they dressed 2, and we ended up winning that game. So we were up 3-2 when we should have been down 3-2. They took the game away from them because they dressed an illegal player.
And that's the same guy that was chirping you. That's just karma, isn't it? Yes,
he was chirping me the whole game, and I was getting into it with him a little bit. So then we ended up going and we ended up beating them in our rink, and I think triple overtime to win the championship. And then again, it was everybody jumped on the ice. It was the same kind of thing.
It wasn't an easy win then. If you're triple overtime and you're going through all that, like when you win those championships and you really got to dig deep. Oh,
yeah,
it just popped again. God damn it.
Yeah.
Sorry. No, that makes it more special, right?
Yeah, we had to dig deep. So we were down, I think, 3-1 in 2 different series. So, 2 games. We were down quite a bit. We came back in the series both times, and we ended up pulling that one off. And then after that season, actually, then I decided to go to the Swedish Second League.
Yeah. So I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to finish off with your career, and then we'll do the Italy stuff after.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
So you guys win it again, 2 years in a row. You dominate the league, and then you do get a chance in the Allsvenskan League. So how does that happen? Do you have an agent, or are you doing this yourself?
No, I have an agent at this point. Pretty good agent, Derek McCann. He's out of Montreal, and he's got a lot of good players. So he ended up helping me. He told me it's going to be tough to get the Swedish Elite League from Italy, so you're probably going to have to go to the second league. So I said, no problem, let's go. So I ended up actually taking less money than I was making in Italy to go play in the Swedish Second League.
Just for the opportunity to show what you could do and get in front of them.
Yeah, so it was, I took less money, went to a team that was finished in last again the year before. So it wasn't like I was going to a top team. So again, I had to deal with, maybe going to a team that wasn't going to be as successful. But I figure, you know what? If I can go in there, keep them in games, you never know. Let's see what happens.
And this team was called Bofors?
Bofors. They're called, at the time they were called Bofors. They changed their name halfway through that year, but Bofors. And we went, the team went from last place, and we ended up playing in the playoffs to get into the Swedish Elite League. We didn't quite get the job done, but.
So what's that, the top 4 teams?
So top 4 play the bottom 4. Or no, top 4 play the bottom 2.
Right,
and then top 2 teams
go to the Swedish Elite League.
Yeah, so we ended up.
You were in that then from last place.
Yeah, and that was another small town, but great town. I absolutely loved it there. It was.
What's the town called? Is it Bofors? What's it called?
No, it's called Karlskoga.
Oh, that's the town. That's what it's named now.
Now it's called that, yeah. So they changed the name to the actual what the town is. So that was a great place to play. Great fans. My teammates.
Isn't it crazy what success can do though? Like when you take a team from last place to the top four, and then you get to play in front of those Swedish Elite League teams that are trying to stay up. But then there's also the scouts that are going to be like, well, why are these teams here? Why are they playing in this? Like, why are they good? And then they see you, who've won 2 championships in Italy. You go to a last place team, bring them to there, then it's pretty easy, right, to see what you need.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. It was a great year, and again, played. Then I went to the World Championships again, and then I actually got signed by a Swedish Elite League team, which was Timra.
That's a pretty crazy day for you, eh?
Yeah. So it was.
Did you feel pretty good about yourself the day you signed that?
That was a great feeling because
I'd feel good about myself that day.
I would say probably the Swedish Elite League is pretty high up there. It's obviously not the NHL, but
it's top 5.
Like, yeah, I would probably say top 3.
Well, I would agree. I mean, I would agree, but there's Finland and there's the KHL, right?
Which are they're KHL and Finland and in Sweden, they're all right there. You're right. So it's top 5.
And like it's high end, but one thing I thought is that they didn't have that many imports, but then the last guest we had on, Larry Huris, said when he was the coach there, he was the first North American coach in Sweden. In 25 years, he brought in a whole bunch of imports. So I did not realize it's unlimited imports. It's the best team you can assemble exactly. It, right?
Exactly. And the Swedish players are good, Wally. It's not, if you're an import.
I know that.
You're not going in there and just getting handed a top 2-line spot like in some of the other leagues. The imports are going to play, right?
Yeah.
And like I said, the other goalie there, they were bringing me in not to just be the starter. Like, okay,
you're battling. It's go time every day.
Yeah, whoever's going to stop more pucks is the guy that's going to play. So we actually ended up battling the whole year. This guy was a very good goalie. I'd have to say this guy was it was a battle. And that actually made me a very good goalie in a different kind of way mentally, because it was a constant battle. Where at Western Michigan, I knew I was playing every weekend. Italy, I knew I was playing every game. Karlskoga, I knew I was playing every game. And now it was a different kind of it was different.
Different practices, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. So
because usually the starting goalie, like, I don't know what it's like for you, but starting goalies, some of them, when they knew they're playing, they would just get what they need, right? And you're like, why did you just let in the last 5 shots? And they're like, I was just getting what I needed. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Then you'd play with the goalie that's so competitive, he doesn't want to let in a shot, right? Yeah. And like every goalie is so different. I'm not going to get into it, but like, how does it not change your practices that you are way more intense every day than you would have been as just you're the starter and you don't have to deal with that shit?
Not that I didn't. I would try and go hard every practice. That was just me. I would try to work as hard as I could. But when now the practices are pressure now too, because if you go in there and you're getting fucking lit up in practice, you're not playing.
Right.
even if you played good the game before, you know what I mean? So we ended up battling. Towards the end of the year, I started kind of edging ahead. And I was, that picture that we were talking about on the text the other day.
Yeah, where I said that your glove was open.
Yeah, that was the turning point that game.
No, it was the picture where the guy's coming out of a breakaway and it looks like he's about to shoot, and I'm like, because I always looked high glove, and I was like,
it was penalty shots. I think that.
I'm pretty sure that guy looked like he was about to go 5-hole. What a plug!
Yeah, no, I did. I probably did give it to him, but that game was actually a turning point in the season, because he was the other goalie was supposed to start that game, and he was a little bit sick. But whatever nobody knows is I was actually very sick too. So I was very sick. So he was supposed to play. And then like an hour before the game, he said, you know what? I can't play. And I was feeling really sick too. We were both sick at the same time. And I'm just like, okay, this is a beautiful opportunity. I'm going to try and battle this one out. And I ended up going in that game, and I think I stopped. We ended up winning 2-1 in shootouts. I think I had like 50 shots. And then from there on, I took over the rest of the year. So
And
That was
that's
actually,
it's the same as players then, because like those opportunities where like your wrist is a little banged up, your legs a little banged up, but like if you really tell them all about it, you're probably not going to play, or they're going to tell you you're not playing as big of a role. But if you just bear down and don't tell anybody and just act like it's normal, you're going to get those opportunities. And there's certain people that will do that. And then there's certain people that will be like, oh no, I can't go in today.
yeah. So that was a big game, because then actually the team we were playing against was Luleå. They ended up signing me a couple days after that game for the next season, which was eventually my last year. But
So you play that game, you play that good in front of them, and that's how Europe can work, right? Like when they see a goalie and they're like, we need this guy, it can happen just like that.
Yeah, so that's what happened there. And yeah, I don't know how much more you want to get into with the hockey, but
well, you know what? What I want to get into then is Swedish food. What is that? What is it meatballs like IKEA's trying to sell me, or what are they eating in Sweden?
you know what? They're eating a lot of meats with gravies and potatoes. That's a big meal we had. That was a big pregame meal on the road.
Like mashed potatoes, or just whatever,
Yeah, no,
just
like
potatoes.
almost just like boiled tomatoes.
Yeah, yeah.
Not even mashed. It was just kind of like big tomatoes boiled.
Meat, potatoes, and a veg. And
yeah, a
that's
lot
the
of
meal.
Gravies, cranberry sauces, that kind of stuff.
Oh.
It wasn't my favorite, but it got the job done. Can't
Okay.
complain.
No, I just didn't really know what Swedish food was.
Yeah, they got the Swedish meatballs too, like you would see at IKEA for sure.
Well, maybe that's just IKEA doing that, right? Like I don't know if that's the country.
No, the Swedish meatballs are big too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That was just random question for me because I love food. What's the cities of Timrå and Luleå?
Okay, so Sweden, it's dark in the wintertime. It's dark. It's
all the time.
Like I said, you're going to sleep. You're especially in Luleå. It was because we were way up in the Arctic Circle. So
and those abbots had to live there for that long.
Yeah, but you know what? It's a great place.
If you're come on, give me something that like they beat us and then they go there and play in the Swedish Elite League and all that.
They're outdoor guys too, right? They're very outdoorsy, so that place fits right into them. It's like cottage country basically.
All right, fair enough.
But it was a great spot because I got to see the Northern Lights there, which was pretty cool. Seeing them, probably I saw the Northern Lights. You would probably see it once a week, which was cool.
Yeah.
Because we were so way up there. And but man, when I first got there in July, or actually probably at the end of June, it was light always. The sun never went down. The sun would literally just kind of creep down for about half an hour and then bang right back up. So you're sleeping in your room and it's like, unless you have the blackout shutters, it's
blackout shutters you need.
But then my shutters in Italy were top notch.
Oh man, those shutters, when they can have those in Europe and like you don't know what time of day it is, you could wake up at noon and it is as dark as the middle of the night. You have no clue what's up or down. And that's when sometimes you can't find the toilet as properly as you're supposed to, right?
Yeah, you guys probably had the same kind of shutters in Germany, probably.
Oh, you couldn't see a thing. And like, how am I?
Yeah.
With my background, able to find the toilet every time, right?
Yeah. No,
not possible.
So you need those shutters. But then in the wintertime, as soon as the end of September comes, it just does a complete 360. And then
it would just darkness.
We'd go into the rink, it would be dark. When we were practicing, it would kind of get light. Same thing. The sun would pop up, like just kind of do one of these for a couple hours, and then bang right back down. So by 12:30, it was pitch black dark.
It's interesting. It's like doing a podcast for this long. When I first started, it was dark when I do them. Then it was summer and it was light out, and now it's back to being dark again when we start these.
But they were great towns, great people. Again, just what got to me a little bit is just being there by myself a little bit, not really having the imports to kind of hang around with and kill time. So, but yeah, Sweden was a great country. Great country. I enjoyed it.
Okay. Now I don't know what else I got other than the rest of your times with Italy then. So you make the team your third year with Asiago, your fourth year, but you were their starter for what, 5 years?
4
4 years? And
4
like,
years.
so that like through Sweden and everything, like you're the starter of Team Italy. You're the best goalie that they like. And like you look at like TSN and they're picking out like who's going to be on Team Canada for this or that. And you're like you got to do that for a country, right?
Yeah, it was great. Actually, one of the last goals I ever got scored on was by Yammer Yager.
Really? You got scored on by Yarmer Yager? That guy's a legend. Woolen chop.
Yeah. He, you know what? I had him the whole game. I remember him. He was on a line with Yuri Hoodler and another guy. I can't remember. But
Sounds like a line of legends.
yeah, they were up 1-0 pretty much the whole game. He probably had, I would say, probably 6-7 shots on me. He was just dominating the game. He had the puck the whole game.
Yeah. Giving
And
everybody the
finally,
big
with
ass.
like 4 minutes left, kind of beat me on the blocker side. And I was at first I was pissed that he scored on me, but then after like a minute went by, I was just kind of thinking,
That's kind of cool.
This guy's scored on by Yager. Like, you know, one of the last goals I ever got scored on, probably the 5th or 6th last goal I ever got scored on. So
Oh no, man, it was really cool for me to see you play for Italy and then play against all the big dogs. And like, I mean,
I'll tell you what, that team, the Italian national team is what really gave me that's what really gave me the bump up to eventually get to Sweden.
Well, exactly. And I think that's the exact same thing. Like I had Ben Bounds on, I think he was episode like 18ish, but like
Yeah.
he came on and he said, like, I hope I'm going to do well in the world championships or whatever. And then he has a lights out game against Slovakia. And next thing you know, he signs with one of Slovakia's biggest teams. Right. And it's like the world championships can change things. And the thing is if you don't get that stage, and if you don't get to show what you can do, then it's hard to get people's attention just because you're not doing it in North America, right?
Yeah, if I didn't play on the national team and I was just playing in Italy and even still winning championships, I don't think I get the chance to go over to Sweden.
No, and there's way more eyes on it, right? It's nationally televised in a lot of countries. There's a lot of people watching that shit.
Every game's on TV pretty much. And now every game's on TV, even over here in Canada. Where only Canada's games at the time were on TV over here when I was playing it anyways. Now every game's on TV.
So I guess we've been going a while.
Yeah.
You know, these things keep going longer than I intend. So we got over how you decided to retire. You know, I understand getting homesick and it's dark and it would be lonely. I always thought like if Lisa wasn't with me all those years, like just sitting there watching TV by myself, I would have gotten very stir crazy, very bored. But like there was someone with me like through it, right? It's a little different.
Yeah. And eventually I'm 30 years old. I don't even have a girlfriend at this point. You know what I mean? And it's like,
yeah, am I going to keep going back and doing the hamster wheel or or do I get into real life, right? I get exactly.
It. Yeah, so that was basically
it'd be a hard decision though, wouldn't it? Like with how good you were at playing goalie.
Yeah, it was a hard decision for sure.
Like if you weren't good, then it wouldn't be a very hard decision. You'd just stop.
Yeah, because it was actually because I was playing in the Swedish Elite League. I was like, do I really want to leave this?
Right. You worked your whole life to get to that point, and now you're there, and you're like, geez.
And I'm starting to make a little bit of money too. Like that started to kick in after, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
it was a decision, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, and then you know what? Like I'm proud of you for what you did. Like what your older brother says, like you're fully in, you're running it, and the business is doing great. Like I mean, you made the right decision. You're doing the right thing. Yeah.
Going back, I feel like I did make the right decision, and the timing was.
Yeah, and some guys could drag her out for 5 years,
play a
right?
couple more years, who knows what happens? But
Yeah, but you're still 2 years behind then in the real world, right?
Exactly. So I feel like I called it at the right time, even though it was I was just really starting to build some momentum. So anyway, it is what it is.
Last question.
Yeah.
Okay, last one of the night. If you could go back to any country, anywhere, and order a meal.
Well, are you there?
Yeah, yeah. What meal? You're still there. What meal would you order anywhere in the world? You're gone. Are you
No, I
there?
got you. I got you. You cut out there for a sec. What were you saying?
I said, if you could go back to anywhere in the world, what meal would you order and where?
I would go back to Asiago. I would get there was this one restaurant called Stella d'Oro where you always used to go to. I would get a pizza with French fries on the side and a tiramisu for dessert, and then I'd call it.
What's on the pizza?
I would probably go with
French fries,
pepperoni, hot peppers, and maybe some mushrooms. And then French fries.
You could go back to Europe and get any meal and you're getting French fries.
Yeah, these were good French fries though, Wally. That was just a meal we used to have all the time. And then the tiramisu at this place was just lights out. You can't.
Oh man, some of those restaurants over there, like when they start, yeah, they
best
make it all.
tiramisu. I'm gonna be going back there soon in the next few years once all this COVID shit decides.
Are they gonna retire your jersey? Have they told you that yet?
I don't know if they're gonna retire my jersey, but I think
it's tough to retire goalie jerseys.
I think they would probably do something.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That would be awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna be heading back there soon for sure.
Yeah, no, you should. Yeah, well, like definitely with what you've done too, though, is like the team should be bringing you back because by the looks of things, is they were bottom of the barrel, and by the time you left, they were the tits, and it looked like they were the tits for a few years after that too.
Yeah, they still got a great team every year. They're competing every year. I mean, now they've moved down to I think they're in the Austrian second league now.
And the fans that still love you there too, eh?
Yeah, they would. I think they would. They still message me on Instagram and stuff all the time. So
you better share this because sharing is caring. When I put this out there,
what the messaging?
No, that we did this podcast. You better share it on your story so they all see it. Okay.
100% I will, Wally.
Sharing is caring. You got, and folks, if anybody, I've never said this before because I think it's absolutely lame and ridiculous, but actually like rating the podcast and like writing like, hey, this is good. It actually helps me. So if you feel like doing that, do it. If not, whatever, I'll still do it anyways.
Wally, I'll definitely once you post it, I'll definitely share it to my story for sure. 100%.
Okay, perfect. Well, I can't thank you enough for coming on, dude. And like, I didn't get to know you that well at Western Michigan because I'm doing my thing. You're in the dorms. You're younger than me. But like when you're my buddy and like I saw what your career did, man, I was like, this guy, yeah, like, and I would have been
that, Wally.
Well, I watched that and I was very proud of you. As ridiculous as that sounds, I was proud of you for what you did. And
Thanks,
actually,
Wally.
I'm proud of you for what you're doing after hockey. So you're obviously you're doing well, sir.
Thank you, Wally, and same to you. And thanks for having me on the podcast. And I know you were talking to my brother about coming up to visit. Once you come up, we'll play around at Credit Valley for sure.
Oh dear, that sounds lovely. Wherever that is, folks. But I guess this week I got to go to a lot of tryouts really far away. So I don't know if I'm going to make it to Toronto other than if he plays for that team, which would suck.
Yeah, we'll set it up. We got lots of time, buddy.
Okay, sounds good, man. Well, thank you for coming on. And this has been another episode of Two Ales and Hockey Tales with Danny and Wally.